Do you know what this is? Meet the Coontie. This little shrub is a cycad, which actually means it was hanging out with dinosaurs long before roses and orchids were even a thing. And I'm talking about 325 million years ago. Isn't that crazy? It's actually really tough. It's low maintenance. It's pollinator friendly. And bonus, it's a native to Florida. Pretty cool, right? Today we'll be diving into the world of native plants, why they matter, and how they can save you money, time, and I think possibly your sanity. Plus, I'll share my top 10 favorite easy to grow plants for your Florida garden. What if I told you that these quiet, leafy, green things that we're surrounded by can actually help solve some of Florida's biggest environmental problems? That is the beauty of native plants. They've grown here naturally for hundreds and even thousands of years, perfectly adapted to Florida's climate, our sandy soil, and of course, a beautiful wildlife. Florida isn't like the rest of the country when it comes to gardening. While most states take a break through winter, Florida's garden season is just getting started. Our warm and humid climate and sandy soils create an environment where summer can actually be too hot for many crops and non-natives. And our best growing seasons are often fall through spring. This upside down schedule means gardeners have to think a little differently. But the real magic happens when we lean into what naturally thrives here. Native plants. These are the true Floridians, and they come with many perks. Number 1, water conservation and low maintenance. Thanks to their deep roots and natural resilience, native plants don't need extra watering, fertilizers, or chemicals. This does wonders for our water bill and reduces the need for upkeep. Their roots can actually grow 16 feet deep in the ground. Pretty cool, right? Number 2, improve soil health. Florida's sandy soils are often low in nutrients and organic matter, but native plants have adapted to grow in them with little to no fertilizer. That means healthier soil and fewer chemicals entering our environment. Number 3, support local wildlife. My favorite one by far. Native plants provide essential food and shelter for pollinators, birds, and other wildlife, especially my bees. Many insects depend on specific native species to survive, making them a critical part of our local food web. And it's a beautiful thing to see how native encourages the behavior of wildlife in our area. They come, they fly, they play, they eat, and just puts a smile on your face. Number 4, fights climate change. Shifting seasons are disrupting plants and animal life cycle. Native plants help stabilize ecosystems by blooming in sync with local wildlife needs and supporting pollinators and migratory birds, even when the climate changes. Number 5, saves money over time. Most native plants are perennials, just like the scarlet hibiscus. They come back year after year. That means fewer trips to nurseries, less replanting, and long-term savings for gardeners who want beauty and resilience. Now, Florida has over 4,700 native plants, but don't worry, I've narrowed it down to my top 10 favorites. I've included the plant hardiness zones to determine which plants thrive in your region. These zones are based on average minimum temperatures. Here in Florida, they range from Zone 8B all the way to Zone 11B. Zone 8B, found mostly in North Florida, sees the coolest winters, while Zone 11B down here in South Florida stays warm year-round. So keep that in mind. All right, let's get going. The climbing aster. I think of vines as very romantic. It reminds me of sort of this like pleasant feel when I see vines grow. This vine is a Florida native. It's a beautiful vine to have in your garden. It has these very soft lavender flowers that are very popular within the pollinator world. I do find some challenges with it, and one of the challenges, which I just discovered, is the fact that iguanas also love it as much as we love it. It's a great vine to have if you have space that goes up. It loves to climb trees and trellises and walls. It's a beautiful addition to any garden in Florida. If you're looking for some plant here in Florida that's really low to the ground and provides a pop of color on a yearly basis, think about the Stokes Aster. The Stokes Aster is a beautiful perennial that does really well in sandy soils and actually muck environment, just like this one. I haven't seen any challenges with this particular plant, but I do think that it's actually a slow growing plant. It doesn't multiply often, but when you see the color of the flower, I think that's what caught my attention. It's a beautiful addition if you want something low in the ground to create a little pop of color throughout the year. When you think about Florida, we have to consider hurricanes and the amount of water we kind of receive throughout the year. So the combination of this climbing aster with the Stokes Aster down here creates a really beautiful scene, especially when you think about, what do I put when I have so much water like here? This combination does really well in your garden. I've noticed that with the amount of water that I receive in my garden, they seem to do really well. They're not complaining, and they still showcase their beautiful flowers. I planted this earlier. This is the Coreopsis. It's actually Florida state wildflower. It reminds me of the sun. This is an annual, which actually means it'll die back down, but throughout the year, it will surprise you and it'll spring back up. And it springs back up in very unique places, and that's why it's so versatile. It loves wet soil, dry soil, too much sun, not enough sun. It's a beautiful flower to have, and the pollinators love them. This is the corky stem passion flower, and by far is one of my favorite vines to grow in companion with my veggie plots. I do feel that growing this next to my vegetables actually creates a symbolic relationship between the vegetables and the wildlife. This specific vine is actually a host vine for the Julia butterfly, the zebra longwood, and also the Goff flittery. Right now, once we look close, we're gonna see how full it is of butterflies and little small caterpillars. While the wildlife is actually enjoying this variety of vine, your vegetable gardens are thriving. Do you know, because I didn't know, that Florida actually has a native sweet basil. This beautiful little small basil here is actually one of our Florida natives. And I was so excited to know that we actually had a native that I drove 3 hours just to purchase her. She's actually a very aromatic sweet basil, sort of has the scent of the basil, but unlike your kitchen basil, this is not to make pesto. It is non-edible, and pollinators love it. It has a very beautiful, delicate purple lavender flower. It stays low to the ground, and what I like best, it actually repels mosquitoes. This is the Firebush, and I'll tell you a little story about the Firebush. I was looking for a plant that needed to eat up a lot of space, and that's the beauty of this bush. It's a shrub, it gets pretty tall, you can keep it short, but the best part to me is the flowers. I don't know why, but it reminds me of fireworks. It's sort of an explosions for wildlife to come and gather nectar from the beautiful flowers and the oranges and the reds, and it's full of life. In the morning, the pollinators swarm around this area, so it's a good plant to have if you need to eat up space and sort of have a showcase for wildlife. This is the wild coffee, and by far, I think it's an underrated plant. It's an evergreen shrub that eats up a lot of space. It stays green all year long, and the best part about it, it feeds the wildlife. Birds adore this shrub. Throughout the year, it creates these really beautiful berries, and the birds sit here and they sort of have a lunch, so it's pretty unique to see. This tree, I think, doesn't get the attention it deserves. This is the wild lime tree. It has the scent of these citrusy leaves that if you kind of crush it in your hand and take a sniff, you can smell the lemon. It does not produce fruit, it's not showy, but it speaks volume to our ecosystems. Number one, it is a host tree for the giant swallowtail butterfly caterpillar, and it's a beautiful sight to see them sort of flutter through the tree. Number two, it is beloved among birds. Right now, I probably have around 3 nests in this sort of relative small tree, and I think the thorniness comes into play when they think about predators. It's a great tree to have in your space if you want the butterfly and also if you love the birds. Are you interested in removing your grass? Well, I'm going to highly recommend the Frogfruit. It creates a carpet of flowers. Sadly, a lot of people think of it as a weed, but don't let it fool you. If you look really closely, it is surrounded by bees. Here and there, you will have butterflies sort of scoop down and enjoy all the nectar this variety has. It stays really short, and this one is a little taller because I actually enjoy seeing the flowers. But you actually can mow it and mow it even shorter in your space. So if you're looking for a ground cover, if you're looking for a drought-resistant plant that can cover a lot of flat area, consider the Frogfruit for your Florida garden. Well, I do think the Coontie is by far one of my favorite species in my garden. Number one, it was hanging out with dinosaurs, which I think that's pretty cool. Number two, it's actually a host for the rare Atala butterfly. Once in a blue moon, you'll see her sparkle through the sky, and it's a beautiful sight to see. Number three, it does wonders for edges around your garden. It does great when you want to create a contrast between high and low. It is a very slow growing plant. It kind of teaches us to have patience. So find yourself a Coontie, surround your gardens with them, and you'll thank me later. Even though natives are low in maintenance, they still need a little love at the start. When you plant them, don't forget to water them for at least 2 weeks so their roots can grow long and strong. Since I've been doing this for around 7 years, I've had a lot of trial and error. And I do have to say that one of the things that I like to share to beginner gardens is patience. Be patient with yourself. I feel like sometimes we're hard on ourselves, the plants die, we don't know why they die, but it's okay. I like to say that if it dies, just leave more space for another one. When I started this, what I call still journey, and I'm still learning, I really enjoyed growing vegetables. That's sort of my backbone. But in between those years, I fell in love with native plants in South Florida. And the reason why I did fall in love with that, because I felt like there was a symbolic relationship with growing food and having natives side by side. I do feel that when I have the natives there, my vegetables do much better. The pollinators enjoy that. They have to pollinate something. So I do think that as a beginner, having both creates a really good balance in your garden. And by far, I think native is my favorite now, just because the amount of wildlife it brings to your space. And if you're wondering where to find these plants, stop by your local nursery. But make sure to ask for native plants. Most of the time, they're not always labeled. You can also search for more native plants by your zip code. Check out the links in the description below. Remember, when you plant native, you're not just gardening, you're helping Florida thrive. Stay rooted, and I'll see you next time. To keep building your native plant garden, check out the video below. Yes, click right here. I see you right here.